Hey guys, welcome back to another raid video, and we're going to talk about things in 1.14 that have been announced that are coming soon. So the first thing I want to talk about is Duchess. So I think about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, they kind of put out some announcements that Duchess was going to get nerfed. So on her passive skill here, we know that she gets that AoE mitigation on her passive, as well as when there's a veil or perfect veil, we're going to get extra mitigation. So when we're talking about anything not a boss, we're going to get 40% AoE mitigation. And if it's a boss, we're going to get 25% mitigation. So, when this came out, honestly, I was pretty unhappy. I had just got Duchess, and it takes a lot of resources to level her up. So when I heard about this, I wasn't too thrilled. I understand, it was the PvP side that has some issues. So my thought was, maybe instead of totally eliminating this veil or perfect veil, they could actually just exclude PvP from this. They could say, hey, if it's PvP, this veil and perfect veil doesn't apply to this increase in AoE mitigation. So something has been announced that in patch 1.14, Duchess is going to get nerfed. She is going to get nerfed, and we're not going to get that veil and perfect veil AoE mitigation on top of what she already has for her passive, right? So she's not going to have that on her passive skill. So Veil and Perfect Veil are actually going to incorporate an AoE mitigation within that buff themselves. So if we're talking about like PvP, let's start there. So PvP, Duchess is going to get a 25% AoE mitigation for all your allies. She's not going to get that Veil and Perfect Veil part of her passive. That's going to be eliminated. But let's say we're talking about Perfect Veil, because that's really the one I care about, right? So on Perfect Veil, it is actually going to have a 15% AoE mitigation built into it. So think about it. So 25% and now additional 15. So we end up with 40% still. We still get 40% AoE mitigation on PvP. I don't know why they're doing this, because it's not going to solve the problem for PvP. It's not going to solve the problem for that. Even though there are some additional meta changers coming out now, she is still just as strong in PvP. Now, if we're talking about the boss side, let's talk about the boss side. So originally we got 15% AoE mitigation on bosses. And then if they had the Veil or Perfect Veil, we got a 25% AoE mitigation. So currently, with this passive being nerfed, she's going to get a 15% AoE mitigation for all your allies. But, so if we have a Perfect Veil on our allies, instead of getting that 25%, we're going to get 15% plus 15%. So we're actually going to get 30% AoE mitigation like on Clan Boss, because that's really what I care about. I have her on my Clan Boss team, so to get, it's not a big jump, but 5% extra AoE mitigation, I will definitely take on Ultra Nightmare. That could potentially help me out another round or two to survive. So not really sure what they're doing here. It definitely didn't nerf her for PvP, and it actually made her stronger for like Clan Boss and for let's say Faction Wars. You're talking about a boss. It actually makes it a little stronger for Faction Wars. So personally, I'm kind of happy. I just don't really know what they're doing here with the whole nerf on Duchess and then throwing out the buffs on the Veil and Perfect Veil. But I thought I should let you guys know at least on that. Additionally, Leech is going to be changed. So right now, Leech really isn't a big factor in the game. I don't really care about it. I don't use any champions that have Leech. But right now, you get 10%, kind of like a life steal anytime people do damage to an enemy with a Leech debuff on them. They kind of heal for that 10%. So now it's going to be 18%. So that is almost double. That could be something worthwhile. That could be something where maybe I want to try out Leech on certain scenarios. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm going to use on. Maybe Faction Wars. I might want to use it on Faction Wars, just to get additional healing, because some of the factions really struggle with healing. They really struggle with healing. So this might be a way around that. So with the Leech, any champion out there that already has a Leech is basically going to get a little stronger, as well as Mashaled. He is actually going to get a Leech debuff added onto one of his skills. So if you look here on one of his AoE skills, along with placing a True Fear, he's also going to place a Leech debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. And then one of his other skills attacks all the enemies, and he'll heal for some of the damage he inflicts. That skill is basically a one-hit enemy, but if any other enemy has a Leech on them, he's also going to attack them. So potentially that might be a pretty strong buff. Hopefully I read that right for you guys, but that might be a pretty strong buff for that champion. So I don't think I have that champion, but if you do, definitely look into him after this patch because he might be pretty strong. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is the gear filtering system. I think we were teased on this maybe a month or 2 ago that it was going to be incorporated in a patch coming out, and it's going to be in 1.14. And they have a video here just kind of showing how it works. Basically, you can filter by slot, you can filter by primary and substats, as well as new gear or equip gear. So equip gear is really important for me because I have a lot of champions in my storage, my vault, that I kind of forget, that I've geared them out. And when I want to re-gear maybe like a clan boss team, this can be very hard. This can be very hard to figure out where those pieces of gear are, and just how to find those. So this is definitely something that is going to help us. It's a quality of life improvement for sure. And really, we've been looking for something like this for about 14 updates. Ever since this game officially came out, we've been looking for something like this just because there are so many different champions we have, so many different pieces of gear that it's almost impossible to find the gear that we want to maybe re-gear a clan boss team to get that ideal setup. So anyways, hopefully this helps you guys out, and hopefully this update comes soon because there's a lot of exciting stuff. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later.